Welcome back to another episode of oh my gosh. Welcome back to another episode of DNA News. My name is Ken.
And I'm Brendan. We'll be your host for this week, so let's dig right into the news.
Hey Brendan, did you hear?
No?
Well, February 19th, NWTC is holding Paint Sip Mocktail from 4 p.m. through 6 p.m.
That sounds awesome. You should check it out, especially if you're feeling stressed.
This Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day is the cutoff for that RSVP.
And with that, let's see what NN19 has for us today.
To national news in 19 seconds. I'm your associate, Ken Kogis, from Tom's Guide's Best News of CES 2025, Notable Technology, Best Innovation, ThinkPad Book Plus Gen 6, that's a lot of words, which grows on command when you press a button. The monitor increases growth. The Levano Legion goes, oh, I need to go.
I'm your co-host, Taylor. Have you heard about Starbucks' new policy? They are bringing back condiment bars and free refills. Yeah, I was gonna say I got nothing.
Trump's admin steps up on crackdown on undocumented immigrants with mass deportation over the weekend. ICE says 956 arrests were made on Sunday, with over 2,500 arrests in total just over this weekend. Trump threatens to add tariffs to Colombia if they do not agree to deportation flight terms. More news will be updated on this issue.
On Wednesday, January 8th, 17 cats and dogs from the Pasadena Humane Society were transported to Best Friends Sanctuary in Kanab as the Easton fire began to pose a significant threat. On Thursday, an additional 60 cats.
Microsoft's LinkedIn for disclosure of customer information to train their AI models. Yikes. Their platform disclosed their private messages to third parties without permission, generative artificial intelligent models, and they covered up their tracks. Suggests LinkedIn was fully aware of their violating customers' policy, and I'm done.
International Holocaust Day. They're celebrating the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz concentration camp. Many popular and famous people have gathered today to show remorse to the place.
Firefighters are once again scrambling to stop a wildfire. The fire in LA has ripped through more than 10,000 acres in less than a day, and it is only 14% contained. There is a mandatory evacuation, leaving many residents with absolutely nowhere to go. Strong winds fuel a wildfire near Los Angeles. We'll keep you updated on this developing issue.
Los Angeles Times has featured on the front page of their January 21st print as top news saving the Self-Realization Fellowship Lake Shrine. The Palisades fire.
Palisades fire? Well, on other news, speaking of TikTok, the power... That's wrong. Blue Sky. Well, actually, you remember Blue Sky, the founder of Twitter? Oh my gosh. Well, he launched a custom feed of vertical videos to compete with the TikTok's Disappearing Act a few weeks ago.
China launched an AI tool called DeepSeek. Chaos in the U.S. market raised questions about the future of AI dominance.
Friday night, January 24th, Trump fires over a dozen inspector generals over the weekend in an effort to cut government waste. The scale of Trump's purge has not been seen since Ronald Reagan dismissed 15 IGs in his first day of office in 1981.
Pets lost in LA fires are being reunited with their desperate owners, thanks to the charity Dawson, part of a group of big-hearted volunteers who swung into action since the series of wildfires that began burning their way through parts of Los Angeles on January 7th.
Now, speaking of TikTok, look where it goes. And now it's back. Well, the power of TikTok is restored by Trump's executive order on January 20th, restoring the most popular platform on social media in the United States 12 hours after the United States Supreme Court deadline has passed.
Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington, D.C. has been quarantining 2 new pandas from China. The pandas will stay for the next decade. The pandas' names are Bo and Changbei.
Police recently arrested 66-year-old man at a nursing home in Utah on suspicion that he murdered a girl who attended his high school nearly 5 decades ago, with modern DNA technology implicating him. Gideon Castro's arrest came in connection with the killing of Dawn Momohara, 16, who was found dead the morning of March 21st, 1977, at the campus of McKinley High School.
Teen rescues a frightened horse and leads it to safety across 14 miles during the LA wildfires. A horse named Sovereignty, who was confused and scared, refused to get in the transport vehicle. Luckily, 16-year-old Kalina Fed-Orzik stepped in to save the day and guide the horse from the fire.
Whew! Man, it's really hot in here. That was a lot of news in 19 seconds. Thank you so much for watching. Back to you guys. And welcome back. Please go check out our Instagram and YouTube at DMT and NWTC.
Ken, did you see? Green Bay has a high of 22 with a low of 5 degrees.
Man, Green Bay's coming in with that hot streak.
Well, I don't know about that. With that note, let's see what TC News has for us today.
To national news in 19...
In this week's episode of News TC, our crew went to the Nostalgia Days event on campus. Nostalgia Days was a 3-day event that lasted from February 4th to February 6th. Each day covered a different decade, with the first being the 80s, the second being the 90s, and the last day covering the 2000s. Each day there were unique snacks with that decade, as well as music and videos playing as well. There were board games for students to play, and a photo booth with props for students to interact with. Join us as we interviewed a few students and got their thoughts and perspectives on each decade, the event, and more.
I'm Maggie. I work in student involvement. I do the programming and marketing for our department. I'm part of what planned Nostalgia Days here on campus. Yesterday we did 80s, today we're doing 90s. So around the commons we have music videos playing from the 90s. Tomorrow we're going to be having the 2000s decade coming. We just want to do just something a little bit different. That was an all-day event, so people, depending on their class schedule, their timeline, could just kind of pop down, experience a little bit of the 90s, and have fun.
I really like the 90s. I think it was a really great time for music. A lot of my favorite artists were big during that time. So like hip hop, pop, but I really like the trends as well that relate to fashion. I love the baggy jeans and the crop tops, and I think it's interesting to see how that cycles back into our
Go back to
In this week's episode,
everybody. Go check out our Instagram and YouTube for news like this, and as well as for everything that we've been able to do with this degree.
Ken, did you hear? Green Bay has a high of 22 with a very low of 5 degrees this week.
Okay, wow. Green Bay is coming in with this hot streak. I cannot wait to start wearing shorts again.
Well, I don't know about that, but let's see what News TC has for us today.
In this week's episode of News TC, our crew went to the Nostalgia Days event on campus. Nostalgia Days was a 3-day event that lasted from February 4th to February 6th. Each day covered a different decade, with the first being the 80s, the second being the 90s, and the last day covering the 2000s. Each day there were unique snacks with that decade, as well as music and videos playing as well. There were board games for students to play, and a photo booth with props for students to interact with. Join us as we interviewed a few students and got their thoughts and perspectives on each decade, the event, and more.
I'm Maggie. I work in student involvement. I do the programming and marketing for our department. I am part of what planned Nostalgia Days here on campus. Yesterday we did 80s, today we're doing 90s. So around the commons we have music videos playing from the 90s. Tomorrow we're going to be having the 2000s decade coming. We just want to do just something a little bit different. That was an all-day event, so people, depending on their class schedule, their timeline, can just kind of pop down, experience a little bit of the 90s, and have fun.
I really like the 90s. I think it was a really great time for music. A lot of my favorite artists were big during that time. So like hip hop, pop, but I really like the trends as well that relate to fashion. I love the baggy jeans and the crop tops, and I think it's interesting to see how that cycles back into our current age and time. You see a lot of those similar fashion trends right here, right now.
I enjoyed most like watching TVs when I had a sleepover.
What kind of shows were popular?
Like, I know that Ren and Stimpy is like a nostalgia show on Nickelodeon.
We talked about, in the office we were just talking about music videos and just loving it and wanting to do an event that could kind of bring to life music videos and some throwbacks, and that kind of birthed into Nostalgia Days.
This episode of News TC is sponsored by Hasbro, the makers of a lot of the games that you saw here today at Nostalgia Days. Watch here as two of our crew are busy engaging in a game of Candyland, which you can still purchase in stores today.
Well, I gotta say, we didn't have those treats right there in my country. We had different treats, put it this way. And we did not play those games either.
What did you guys do in the 90s?
Well, we play outside. It was outside, riding a bike, playing with the ball, like doing different games, like talking to each other, like having jokes outside. It was a very nice childhood, though. We play elastic, we play like ropes. We do a lot of stuff outside. We're not staying on the phones, no computers back then, nothing. Just outside, played with the kids, enjoy the day.
90s for sure. I was born in 90s, so I'm a 90s baby, and I love a lot of that music, and Rob did a great job picking out the music videos, and yeah, I love the 90s. That's kind of my aesthetic as well, so as well as 2000s. Yeah.
The guys were playing those little, like, with the glass balls, the little like balls, marbles, yeah, with the glass marbles, but like a girl, we like. When we grew up, actually, we played like a lot of badminton and tennis.
I think they could branch off in doing different things too, maybe different cultural things. I think would be really interesting. Like when they did the showcase of international students, I thought that was really cool. But I think it would be even better if we could bring like that musical aspect or the sax or something else like that.
I think just there's something about nostalgia that everyone can relate to, even if you weren't born in that decade, something that will trigger a memory for you, even if you weren't born in the 80s. Maybe there's something from the 80s that you had in your childhood and it could bring back memories. So
I think events like this, especially like with the nostalgia factor and that it's a little bit more passive, are not only easier to plan and pull off, but I think it's like a good morale booster and spirit booster for not just the students, but the employees as well. With everything going on at the college and in the country, it's just like I said, good morale booster, so it's kind of fun for everybody.
And that's it for today's episode of News TC. I hope you enjoyed our coverage of the Nostalgia Days event, and I hope you join us next Tuesday, where we plan to cover the Make and Take Stuff a Critter event, happening on February 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Commons. Feel free to stop by and make your own stuffed animal. That's been News TC.
Well, that looked like a lot of fun. With that, let's hear what our sponsor has for us today. For all of you coffee lovers, we wanted to introduce you to Yeti, and it's featuring a high-quality mug, which comes with a very convenient, easy-to-open lid. As the temperatures change, you will ensure your coffee will always stay hot all day long. Say goodbye to your lukewarm coffee days and say hello to the fresh coffee.
And with that, thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Brendan.
And I am your host, Ken. I don't know what's going on in the back, but go ahead.
Please check out our Instagram
NN19 slash NWTC.